Okay, what we're going to do now is look at how we're going to build the rest of our sword. There's a lot of things in here that I haven't really checked on yet, like the actual number of segments on the handle. 18, that's no good. 16, and this here, like that, 16. And now the next thing we got to think about is how we're going to get all this lined up. Again, I'm looking at something that's complex. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to hold shift and I'm going to make an instance of it. What I'm going to do is use these two objects and work on this complex piece right here. Once you see how we can combine these pieces, it should be fairly easy to get the rest of the objects set up. So I'm going to make sure that I'm in the top view right now so I can get everything cleaned up. Hit F4 and I'm going to move this into place. Alright, so if I just go ahead and overlap it and take a look in the perspective view, you can see kind of what the scenario is. So let's drop this down. So if I go into this, I can't go into the two here and get the parameters. It's going to give me this pop-up. We'll just go ahead and just hit, turn this off, we'll do that later. We'll go over this later. Just hit hold yes, and that's okay. I'm going to add a high segment to all of it. And it really kind of deformed our object and made a mess. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go ahead and get the edit poly and just destroy that real quick. And it really destroyed everything, which is no big deal because I can quickly make it again. Mesh editing, edit poly. We're going to go to sub-object. This time we're going to go to the element. I'm going to hold shift and repeat the same process and get it lined up. And I want to do this now because the cylinder that I'm actually playing around with is about to get destroyed. And I want to kind of get other pieces set up to where they are ready to go, but keep the tube shape with them. So let's go ahead and line up these segments nice and clean, so we'll have some nice, easy to edit points here in a bit. And this is the one we're actually focusing on. We've got the center cut in there, and we've got this piece. So what I'm going to do first here is get this piece, and I'm going to grab these two vertices, and I'm going to scale them down to fit right there. Alright, now the thing is that I need to do, so let's go ahead and grab all these vertices real quick and kind of discuss the plan. I'm going to create some holes, and I want to weld it probably set like this, and I'm going to probably drag this vertex over to this side, and that vertex onto the other side. Again, this is a symmetrical piece here, so I can only really focus on one thing at the moment, and I can duplicate it by using the symmetry tool. We'll get into that here in a second. But let's create some holes and test out some ideas. Alright, I think I'm going to need some more geometry here, so I'm going to go to my edge mode, which is 2 on the keyboard, select these edges. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this over to get myself 2 columns, and I'm going to use this connect tool. Now, when working with the edit poly modifier, you're going to see some of these cool tools that have this little box next to it. It's called settings, a settings option. If I just hit the actual button itself, it's just going to give me a one-time step action. I can't do a whole lot with it past that. What I want to do is I want to move that edge. Let's go ahead and hit connect. Not have the ability to actually place it. I'm going to slide this up. You can see it's changing the proportions of my object, which is what I'm trying to avoid. So I'm going to hit undo and get back to the selection of these edges. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the actual settings box for the connect tool, and it'll give me this pop-up, this caddy, that allows me to actually play around with the different types of the connect options. So I can go here and play with it. This talks about if I have multiple segments in here, this will talk about the closeness and the proximity. So I'll zero that out because that's not what we want. And we'll put this at 1. And then what I'm going to do is just slide it up on the curves. And that's why I like having this option box. I can just use this slider to kind of give me a couple more pieces of geometry. I'm just going to close that up. I'm going to actually make that 1. And I know what I'm going to do here. Close that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another tool. I've got just this edge selected. I can double click on that and it'll give me the edge loop, which is what we really want to have. That's why we like working in quads. Edge loop is a contiguous connection of edges. What we can do here is I'm going to use this cool tool called the chamfer and get the options. And see, now that splits that one line into 2. close the gap a little bit, or even it up, and I'm going to leave it like that. That gives me some wiggle room. What I can do now, without changing too much of my shape, I can grab my vertex and start slamming it into that piece, crashing it all the way, and it gives me an idea of where I need to delete. I'm trying to get my vertices set up and lined up, so that's going to be a little off here, but that's okay, I can work with it. We're going to have some fun destroying our tubes here. It's not lined up. Let's go to top view to look again. It should be lined up, but it's not. That's weird. Oh, I see it. There we go. Let's go to top level and just slide it over to just a hair. That's more like it. Grab these two verts here, hold control, select two, slide that down. Alright, so if I go to wireframe, you can see the shape that I've got going on here. Now there's a couple more things I can think about. I gotta think about these edges being connected to this. I want them getting lined up with these vertices, so what do I want to do here? If we can get back to top level here, slide it up, so we can go into these vertices. I'm going to select all these vertices now and just kind of slide down, and then I'm going to scale it a little bit. I want to scale it just in the X axis. So I get them lined up. Still a little off. It's so weird. It'll get cleaned up here in a second. No big deal. Move these down. Connect back down here. Great. Now that means I have these guys connected to this middle line here. Right? And then I gotta get some edges to match these segments here. So let's do a quick test. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this object. I'm gonna get top level. I'm gonna go to move this object over here, and I'm gonna take this ring right now. I'm going to hold shift and clone it. It's going to give me this pop-up. I'm going to make it a new object. And I'm going to say test ring. Now, when you do that, when you detach an object, it's going to pull the pivot point from the parent object that you detached it from. You can go into the display, go to effect pivot, and center the object to get that cleaned up. Notice that the pivot's aligned off based on the rotation that I gave the actual root cylinder earlier. So let's go ahead and keep that. I'm not too worried about it. And now we're going to start deleting some faces. Go to my polygon mode, which is 4 on the keyboard. Just click on things to redo the selection, and I'm deleting all these faces for sure. And I think that one too. Yeah. Cool. I got a hole here already on this object, so let's go ahead and do this. Cool little trick. Take this object, you can do either one, hit attach, and now we've got this on here. So if I go and hide these pieces here, I'm going to select these guys. Don't attach that. Right click to get out of that attach function. That's what I screwed up on. I'm going to select these guys, and I'm going to look over here in my little list here and turn them off. You can see how my object's attached now. That's why I like the instance. So I'm going in here now. I'm going to go to the 5 on my keyboard, just open up the element, select the entire contiguously welded object. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start welding points. Let's get it close together. Go to vertex, which is 1. I'm going to select, I can click, what I can do is one thing. We've already seen what collapse does. It'll attach those vertices, but it moves things. If this object needs to stay exactly where it is and this object has some flexibility, what we can do is do a target weld, and that'll allow me to drag one vertex onto another one. Do the same thing over here. Do the same thing over here. Now I'm going to drag the actual the longer part and drag it to the cylinder part, the tube part, and repeat the process down here. If you can't see the vertex, you can always go to F3 and go to wireframe mode and drag and drop into there. And now I got to think about how I'm going to get these other connections made. I need to match the vertex. I need a vertex on this planar object. This object and this object need vertices to match. So one thing I can do now is I can go to my vertex mode, and I could do a couple options. The easiest thing's probably, I'm going to do half of it. Let's start with the connect tool just so we can have the edge loops be consistent. So I'm going to open that up, and this will probably be helpful later on when I'm actually attaching other things to this object. So let's go ahead and let's do this one and this one. So I have all these actual edges selected here. Actually, I tell you what, let's do this one. I'm going to show you another way you can select things. I'm going to select the element that I want to use, which is this one. And what I want to do at this point is I'm going to deselect. If I hold Control, I can click on this icon and change my selection over. So I'm going to go back into Edges, and I can deselect what I don't want. That's annoying. Let's do it a different way. I apologize. Do loop, do ring selection, boom, and then we can go here and do ring selection. And that gives us all these edges that we want. So that was the ring selection. All right, so what I'm going to do now is use the Connect tool. It's going to copy the settings we had last time. So I'm going to zero everything out. Using 0, and then I'm going to leave it at 1. So there we go. Now I can look at, see, now I have some vertices to work with here on both top and bottom. That's going to make it a lot cleaner. So I hit OK. Now what I want to do, instead of actually, I'm not going to drag verse, I'm going to create new geometry. And what I'm going to do is line these things up so they actually are nice and clean. I want to create new geometry. I want to bridge, like I did last time, pieces together. So I'm going to go to Edge Mode, which is 2. Click on this edge, click on this edge, click on, I think I can do this one. Let's see what happens. It may not let me because no, it did. Sweet. So I'll do the same thing over here. And we can go to the bridge options like I always suggest, but we can hit checkbox, or we can hit bridge, and we can hit plus. That'll clean that up, and I can just start a new selection. So I click off in a viewport to deselect everything, and then start collecting it, as you can see, dynamically making the bridge happen. And hit plus. All right, so that's how I can get that connection made. So I know that I can do this, and so all I have to do now is just add these cylinders to it. It's tubes. I don't know, I keep calling them cylinders. So let's go down here. We'll slide this into place. Several ways you can do this. Watch. Let's do an easy way. Let's get here. I'm going to delete that one, and I am going to work with the pieces that I have that are given to me. Right. If I deselect, I'm going to do that. Deselect those and deselect those. These are the interior rings. I'm going to delete everything else. Now I'm going to go in here. Collapse. Now the problem with that is this little area, so that's not good. What I can do here is I'm going to scale those. I think it's going to give me the same solution. Here's what I want to do. Let's go here. I'm going to move this down here and move that down here to where they match where the intersection was. It's a little tricky, and this is something that I've learned over the years. Collapse those. So we do the same thing with these. So I'm going to actually undo all that and do all the vertices at once, because I know that's the solution I want to do. So I'm going to go here, and I'm basically going to drag it along the axis of this line here. Grab all those and drag it along the axis of the edge so they match. That's it, right on top of each other. Now we have been using the collapse tool this entire time. So I'm going to select all these vertices, and I'm going to use the well tool. So this is a right click. The quad menu comes up when I hit right click with any of the tools in Max. The edit poly tools gives me these setups. I'm going to go ahead and click on the weld tool there and give me the pop-up. These eyes have been welded. They were 318. Afterwards it's 315. So I'm going to hit plus. I'm going to hit checkbox. I'm going to do the same thing over here and repeat the process on this piece over here. All that adds to where the intersection is. Grab these vertices where that intersection is. Actually, I did the wrong direction. I need to go where that intersection is and where that intersection is. That's what I want. And I select these vertices, and I go back into weld, and there you go, they're welded up. Now I can just bridge everything up. So now we talked about borders before. Borders like an open hole. It's a group of edges that are just have an open ending. It's like there's no border here, but the borders are here. And it's just a hole that I have created anyway. So let's go ahead and talk about how we can bridge that. Actually, I'm going to use edge mode first. Because I go here, I'm going to do a bridge. When I get done both those edges, hit bridge. I can go to border, select that hole right there, that triangle, right click and go to cap, and I'll repeat the process. So go to edge mode, grab these two edges, grab those two edges, bridge, go to border, which is 3 on the keyboard, hit cap, hit cap. Cool. Alright, so there's our object. I didn't attach this one, and I'll show you why. What I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to leave the pivot point where it is actually, and I'm going to use the symmetry tool. This is the symmetry tool is in the mesh editing button sets. Hit symmetry, and what it does is it throws the gizmo right on the actual pivot point. And if you remember when I created this object, the pivot point is skewed off. Just because I rotated it to get it to line up. So I'm going to undo that real quick and watch what I can do here. Effect pivot, rotate, go to top view, and I'm going to rotate it to where it lines up the way it should be. There, bam. Now, I go ahead and edit poly, add symmetry, does the same thing. I wonder why I did that. That's alright, we can still affect the symmetry sub-object, which is the mirror tool. And rotate that there. Alright. And now what I'm going to do is add another symmetry. This time I'm going to rotate the sub-object like so. And then I'm going to move it up. You're going to see it slowly disappear. And then when I go to that point, I'm going to hit flip. And I can place it right where I need to. Line it up just perfect. Now, here's the cool thing. I've got these pieces pretty much ready to go. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to add another edit poly. Oh yeah, watch this also. I've had them all set up here. So they're sitting there ready to go, just about perfect. What I'm going to do is about to destroy these again. So those are lined up, but I don't need to worry about that because the one I need to line up is actually this one. I'll put this right here. I got an edit poly on this guy now. So it's the top of my stack. And what I'm going to do is delete half of this initial stuff. Edit poly. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to delete some of this unnecessary stuff. Edit poly. Now what I can do here is I'm going to go to attach. Bam. I'm going to go to my borders, select those two borders. Uh-oh, I got lots of holes. That's okay, I can fix the holes. Let's fix that. Cool. Hit Z to get it squared away, stop it. Same problem, I think. Nope. These guys, there we go. Awesome. I can select these borders here. I'm going to hold control and convert my selection by holding control and clicking on the vertex icon. It has converted that whole selection. And now what I'm going to do is weld these. I'm going to hit plus and select these vertices. And weld those. Okay, this brings up an interesting point. Did it happen on this side too? Okay. I want you to see what's happening here. Oh, I see what. Hit OK. We've got extra geometry, so I'm going to get rid of this piece. There we go. Go to vertex and select the vertex. When I had that selected, this is what I'm talking about. I'm going to make sure you deselect what you don't need to work with, and then hit collapse. And I believe our sword is pretty much that complex piece is all welded up. What I'm going to do is check for holes by selecting border. Hit F3 and see if I have any holes. I have 8 edges selected, so it's not there. Right there, so I have some holes here I need to fix. Let's go ahead and see. Weld 433 to 36. Let's check for holes again. Select borders. I got this side. Collapse. That should. One more check for borders, for holes. No holes. Awesome. Alright, so let's go here. Let's start creating some geometry by accident. I'm going to delete these pieces. And that is how we can build a complex piece. There's a lot of steps in this, but it's pretty straightforward if you just take your time and think about what's going on. This is exactly why, though, I do my blockouts so that we can kind of see what's going on. So let's go ahead and select that dude. Don't need him anymore. Delete. Don't need him anymore. Delete. And now I'm going to save as a new version. Save as. It's claymore 01. And the next step will be to combine this piece together, and then this 3 pieces to this piece, because we know how to do that part. Alright, that's the end of this video.